Good morning. As we go to the Pash, they go to the Pita. So today we're holding in the sixth reading of Pashas Miketz, and we are holding on chapter 43, verse number 16. Aya Yesivitem as Binyamin Yesa saw Binyamin with them because they brought him. Aya Malashel Abaysa, so he said to those that are within the family in the house, Havis and Nashal Abaysa, bring the people to my home. The Tavach Tevach, and we'll slaughter an animal, and prepare a meal. Because these men will eat with me they'll eat me for lunch. Rashi says, all kinds of to prepare something. It's Harayim. Rashi is a Targum Shad B'Shirusa, and Aramaic term denoting the first meal of the day. The old French lunch, many examples of the word, he threw his meal to a dog. The Rashi brings down that Sheirusei B'Sarayim is in the afternoon. Yes, Yishka Sharama Yosef, and the man did what Yosef said. And the man brought the house of Yosef, he brought these people. Verse 18, and the men were frightened. Because they were brought to Yosef's house. He said an account of the money that was brought, that was put back in our bags at the beginning. To begin with, we were fall upon us to take us as slaves, and our donkeys. Rashi said, they were written 2 yuds. Translated the chilu, they were frightened more than the fear. They were frightened. Yehuva Beis Yosef, and this was not the customary for others who came to purchase grain. The lodge in Yosef's house. Why would they be invited to Yosef's house? Of the inns of the city. They were frightened that this was done only in order to put them in prison. Into his house. Liz Goylel Aleinu, Rash says, so to fabricate accusations regarding the money will roll upon us and fall upon us. Uncle renders was an expression denoting fabrication, false accusations. Those are the tiger and alilas devarim, false accusations. Uncle did not translate a little to conform to the language of the verse, but Lizgelu, which Uncle renders Ravava, to agonize himself. Expression derived from the golden bowl, Golos. Huzab, the queen, was carried away, which denotes royalty. And then the men drew near to the house of Yosef. And they spoke to him at the door of the house. And they said, Biadeni. They said, please, my Lord. We came into, what are you inviting us to your house? We came here to buy food. Actually, an expression of entry supplication. This is the degradation for us. We were accustomed to staying ourselves. Really, we lived off our own capabilities. We have to come down here to buy food, which is the yada. This is a downfall for us. We came to the lodging place. We opened up our bags. And behold, every man's money was in his bag. The money in its full weight. And we returned it. We returned it. And we brought back that money. Other money, we brought back other money. To bring food, to buy food. We did not know who put our money in our sacks. So what did he answer them? Don't worry, peace be to you. Altiro, do not be afraid. God, the God of your God, your God, the God of your father, gave you a treasure in his house. Your money came to me. He brought them Shimon out. Now she says, in your merit, in the merit, and if your merit is not sufficient, the God of your father, in the merit of your father, gave you your treasure. So don't worry, the Eibishter God gave you this. The people were brought into the house. They eat the mayim. They were given water. They washed their feet. They eat them and they gave fodder to the donkey. She says one bringing after another bringing, but they were brought in twice because the brothers pushed him, the man, outside until they spoke to him at the entrance of the house. As soon as he said to them, "Peace be unto you," they followed and entered him after. He kept them, slowly brought them into the house. And they prepared a gift. Until Yosef came in the lunchtime. Because they were told that they're going to eat their bread. As she says, they prepared, they adorned it with beautiful vessels. Verse 26, and Yosef came home. And they brought him the gift. So the that's in their hands, Abaisa to the house. And they bailed down to him. And they enter him to this reception hall. As she says, verse number 27, he asked them if they're okay. He asked them, how's your father, the elderly father? Which you said, is he still alive? Verse 28, he said, Shalom Avadecha, the servant, peace to your servant, Lavino to our father, he's still alive. And they bowed and prostrated. Of course, the greeting. Gnali Yeshu's greeting, bowing, is inclining the head. Achava is again bowing. So there's a kind of a yikod, is bowing of the head. Ishtachva is they lay down on the ground, out down to it. Verse 29, he uplifted his eyes. He saw Binyamin, his brother, Benimai, the brother of his mother. He asked him, is this your small brother? Which you said about him. So he said, may God favor you, my son. As she says, in connection to other tribes, we heard this remark, favor, with whom God has favored your servants. Binyamin and yet they've been born. When Abishai gave the concept to the God who favored your servant, that was before Binyamin was born. So here, Yosef says what God said in the other Shvatim. He says to Binyamin, Elikim Yechancha b'ni, Yosef blessed him with favor. And that completes the Chumash for today. When you go back and go out to the Tanya today, we're still holding the fourth chapter of Tanya. And the Alter Rebbe explained the power of the lavush, the power of the garment of the godly soul. Power of the garment of the godly soul is that the garments are the Torah mitzvahs. And in essence, in truth, they are higher than the soul itself. And therefore, by the soul garmenting itself, with the Torah, he connects himself to God. That's the power of this garment. Power of the garment is that the connection. How does the soul in this world, coming down to this world, have a connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Is through this garment. Through using the garment of thought, through learning Torah with his thought. Through the garment of speech, when he learns Torah with his mouth. And ultimately, through the aspect of a mitzvah, that's the way the neshama the soul connects to the Eibishter. And the truth is, as the Alter Rebbe says, that not is just a simple connection. It's mamish, like hugging the king, touching the Eibishter, touching God. Why? Because as he said, Chachmas, take the Torah is the wisdom of God. The words of the Torah are the words of God. The mitzvah is the ratzon of the will of God. And God and his chachma and his ratzon are one. You can't separate God from his wisdom. So by touching God, by clothing yourself with the learning of in your mind, with Torah knowledge, and by talking words of Torah, and ultimately by doing a mitzvah with touching the Kadosh Baruch Hu. You're touching the essence of God. And he gave the example of where we say that ain't mayim melatayda. We compare water to the Torah. It's just like water comes from a high place to a low place. And as explained, that the water itself comes from a high place to a low place. So to the Torah, even as it comes into a physical thing, it comes from a very high place. And it has to go through the tzimtzumim, the contractions from one world to another world till it comes into a physical thing. But still, it's still connected in its total essence to its source, which is God himself. So that's why we're supposed to look at a mitzvah as a connection to God. That's the word of mitzvah. Mitzvah means connection. The Alter Rebbe continues. So you understand this? Now, since the Torah and its commandments clothed, it's called a lavush, a garment. It clothes all the 10 faculties of the soul. All the 10 faculties, and not only all the faculties of the soul, it clothes the 613 organs of the soul, because the 600 organs of the soul is the 600 organs of gods of God. They reflect God. Nasa Adam, go back to the expression. We are made in God's image, so to say. Made from the head to the lowest level. So now you understand that then the soul, through its 613 commandments, is connected, is completely bound up in God with the bond of life. So may you be bonded with the bond of life. How does one be bonded with the bond of life? Through its connection to Torah and mitzvahs. And the very light of God envelops and clothes it from head to foot. As it's written, God is my rock in whom I take refuge. And naturally, only that which is surrounded a person can be protected. So God is my rock, God surrounds me. And as it's further written, Tatzina, Rotz, and Tatrena. And as a shield, with a shield, God will surround it. Should say, which is the will and the wisdom of God, which is close to the Torah. So the will and the wisdom of God is my rock and my refuge. That I do a mitzvah, I've now become surrounded with God because I've clothed myself in the wisdom and in the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So that's how it comes my shield and my protection. So we see at any rate that although God's wisdom and will are beyond the man's reach, they are made accessible to him because the Torah is clothed in the physical terms. And the commandments are vested in physical objects. So now we see the greatness of learning Torah. Importance, the greatness, the schus, the merit that we have to learn Torah, to speak words of Torah, and to do our mitzvahs. That's why it says, God wanted to give merit. He wanted to give us more clothes. He wanted to give us more strength. Because that's the way our neshama, our godly soul, surrounds itself with God. And that's why the sages say, it's better 1 hour repentance and good deeds in this world And all the life of the world to come. Why? In the world to come, you have spirituality without physicality. Over here, you have physicality. So in the world to come, there's the concept of revelation. Over here, there's not revelation. So why would the Mishnah say it's better 1 hour in this world than all the world to come? Isn't revelation more important? So the Alter Rebbe says this answer is simple. Why? In the world to come means in Gan Eden, over there, even in the world to come, less machshava tvisa, like no thought can grasp God, even in the world to come, even in Gan Eden, where you have souls or even malachim, angels without bodies. So they only receive from the ray of God through Tainug Saga, which is the pleasure of comprehension. Comprehension is an unbelievable thing, but it's still spiritual. It's still spiritual. It's only comprehending what God wants you to comprehend. Even the souls above, or even the malachim above, say, I am a kind touch and where is holiness? And of course, they comprehend whatever they understand in holiness, whatever they understand in godliness, it's only a ray. It's only an offshoot of God. It's not the essence of God. And no created being, even the spiritual beings, even spiritual beings in Gan Eden, where they're vested, they vested of physicality. There's no physicality to them. It's only spiritual. Still don't have the essence of God. They only apprehend a glimmer of the divine light. So you're right. Over here, they have a greater ray of light than they have here. That is true. And that's why the Mishnah continues. It's better the delight in the world to come than thousands of years in this world. Because over there, where the soul separates itself from the physical world, over there it receives the light. Why? Because it has a revelation. But still in all, the soul doesn't have the essence. It has revelation, but not essence. And that's why it's called, for this reason, the reward of the soul in the world to come is referred to the radiance of divine presence. They have a radiance. They have a revelation of the divine presence. They don't have the divine presence. It's no more than a remote gleam of the divine light, which is unbelievable. But it's not the essence. But the essence of God's glory, of blessed be He. Less machshava tzitzak, no thought can apprehend it, not in this world, not in the upper worlds. Besides, when God comes down into this world, when the Eibishter comes down in this world into the Torah and into the mitzvah, that's where you touch God. Only when it's apprehended and closed itself, the Torah and the mitzvah, does it grasp and close itself in God's Himself. That's where your taif is. That's where you grab God. So one mitzvah that I do in this world, I grab God more than all the thousands of years in Gan Eden if the people are in Gan Eden. Why? That I say, because the Torah and the Holy One, blessed be, is one. So that God, in essence, is in the Torah. I open up a Chumash, but I cannot do that in Gan Eden. Over here, I can open a Chumash, learn Chumash. Over here, I can put on. That's what it says. The minhag is, the custom is, when you go to a cemetery, a man hides his tzitzis. Tzitzis in the Gemara is called an easy mitzvah because it's a mitzvah you don't have to do it, only if you wear a four-cornered garment. So it's an easy mitzvah. It's called a mitzvah kala. The easy mitzvah, and you don't want to hurt the souls in the cemetery, because they cannot even do an easy mitzvah. While every single one of us can do an easy, all men over here can do an easy mitzvah and put on a talis cotton, wear tzitzis. So souls above cannot do a simple mitzvah and touch God by doing this mitzvah, while every single one of us could do a mitzvah. That's why it says also, do not evaluate a mitzvah. Because after 120 years, you cannot do any mitzvah. You might have spiritual delight, but you cannot do a mitzvah anymore. That is done. You cannot do a mitzvah. You can't do a simple mitzvah. You can't do a hard mitzvah. You can't do no mitzvah. So as long as you're alive, as long as we're alive, we can do every mitzvah. So the souls above are begging to come out of Gan Eden to go and do a mitzvah. Well, we can do every mitzvah. And we can touch God. And that's the power of a mitzvah. That's the power of opening a Chumash today and learning Chumash today. So hence, it's the priority of Torah and mitzvahs in this world, of the life of the world to come. In the world to come, the soul grasps with a glimmer of godliness. In this world, through Torah and mitzvahs, we unite with God himself. You're right. You don't see it. There's no revelation. But that's what happens. When I do a mitzvah, I touch God. Because I'm doing God's will. When I open a Chumash, I'm saying God's words. To this world. God wrote a Torah to this world. Even Torah clothes itself on only material things. And it's only these material things that a man intellectual grasp when learning Torah, not the essence of God's will and wisdom. So we're back to square one, maybe. But the Rebbe says no. It's because in this world, it's not about intellect. In this world, it's about relationship, it's about connection. And the concept of connection, it's like the illustration of one who embraces a king. If I embrace a king, there's no difference in the degree of the closeness and attachment to the king. Whether the king is wearing one garment or whether the king is wearing 1,000,000 garments. If I'm hugging the king and he's wearing 1,000,000 garments, you don't say you're not hugging the king. You are hugging the king. So I'm hugging the king, whether the king is wearing one garment or let's say no garments, or whether the king is wearing 100,000 garments. Why? Because the king is in the garments. So when I do a mitzvah and touch, I'm hugging God. God is hugging me. So therefore, I am hugging the king. It's about my hugging of the king is my connection to the king. My cleaving to God. And that's the power of a mitzvah. It's not about my delight. By my connection. There's no greater connection to God but in this world. That's why it says, brought down, the Medrash says that the angels are asking God above, where are you? And what does God answer them? Go to shul. Go into a synagogue, you're going to find God. Jews davening. Jews putting on tefillin. Jews wearing a talis. That's where God is. That's where you'll touch God. Similarly, the Jew embraces God's wisdom in Torah study. The fact that his wisdom is clothed in the material robes is irrelevant. Another point understood in this analogy, in the study of Torah, man is also embraced, developed, and encompassed by God's wisdom that contains, as the Alter Rebbe continues. So it goes both ways. I hug the king, and the king is hugging me. And so too, as a king, when the king is hugging you. Even though the king is wearing garments, still being hugged by the king. So to illustrate the Torah analogies of royal embrace, right? The Torah says it openly. God's right hand embraces me. Which is a Torah, which is given the right hand. Why we compare it to the right hand? Which the concept of chesed, the right hand is chesed, and the aspect of water is also chesed. So as explained in Kabbalah, the right hand represents both chesed and water, as it says earlier, Torah is compared to water. And the left hand represents gevura, fire. And the verse states that God's right hand embraces me. Intentionally, that God embraces and envelops the soul through Torah, God's right hand. Thus, the bond that the Torah study creates between the soul and God is twofold. The soul embraces God and is embraced by God. This Torah study, that's why Torah study, Alter Rebbe will continue in chapter 5. That's the great Talmud Torah Keneged. So a mitzvah, I embrace God. Or God embraces me. No, actually, a mitzvah, God embraces me. I put the tefillin on me. And a Torah is both. God embraces me and I embrace God. Because I take my wisdom and I surrender, so to say, God. Right? That I seemingly understand the verse. Even though ultimately I might not understand the verse at all. But I think, or the simple concept, I can understand the verse. That's the greatness of learning Torah. But ultimately, in the aspect of Alter Rebbe wants to bring out in this chapter, is that through Torah mitzvahs I touch God. And I only can do that in this world. That's why I should do every mitzvah I can do. And if I can do I can do a mitzvah many times, I should do it as many times as I can do it. Well, like tefillin, once I put it on today, I can't put it on again. But I can make many brachas today. I can give tzedakah many times today. I can do many things today, many times. And why wouldn't I want to do that? Why wouldn't I want to do a mitzvah to hug the king, to hug the Eibishter many times? And God, and it's surely learning Torah, where I hug God and God hugs me. Again, I don't have revelation. I'm missing the revelation in a way. And that's why Mashiach comes. That's the greatness of Mashiach. We'll have both as one. So then we'll have the concept. Right now, we don't have revelation. Only way you can have revelation is now to go to Gan Eden, and I'm not in any rush. So I don't want to go to Gan Eden. I want to be in this world. Mashiach comes, there'll be both revelation and we'll stay in a guf. So we'll have both worlds. But until then, I have in this world connection, less revelation, and I have in the upper worlds, in the Gan Eden, revelation, less connection. So until Mashiach comes, I want to yafa sha'achas b'tshuva my stavim. It's better one mitzvah here in this world than all the world to come, because that connection that I can do with one mitzvah, cannot do in the upper worlds. I can't put on tefillin. I can't put on a talis. I can't do anything. I can't eat kosher. I cannot do an avedi. I cannot stop doing an avedi. I cannot not eat not kosher. I cannot want to do an aveda. I cannot break any law because there's no physicality. It's all spiritual. Beautiful ending of the chapter 4 of Tanya, which really the Alter Rebbe gives us really such a beautiful connection to understanding the greatness of Torah, the greatness of learning Torah, the greatness of speaking with Torah, the greatness of a mitzvah that we do in this world, that we should realize that the more we want, it's all about a connection, it's all about our connection to God, which we should want to connect to Him as much as possible, because the only place to connect to God is actually in this world. And that completes the Tanya of the day. The day is the 29th day of the month, which is chapter 140 to 144. You do those 5 chapters, you do the chitas of the day. I want to wish everybody a happy Hanukkah today. Tomorrow is Shabbos Hanukkah, and there's Chodesh. It's a very special day. Tomorrow, they bring out very unusual, not every time happens, maybe once a year, or maybe sometimes once in a couple of years, that we take out 3 Sefer Torahs tomorrow. We take out the Torah of the Shabbos, we take out the Torah of the Chodesh, and we take out the Torah for Hanukkah. So 3 different Sefer Torahs are brought out tomorrow to the synagogue. So it's a very special Shabbos. It's a very special Chodesh. So we're blessed with a good Shabbos. I want to first remind you to learn Chitas, continue the Chitas of the day, because Shabbos you have to do it by yourself. And in Mid Shem, you'll have a good Shabbos and a good Chodesh. And in Mid Shem, we'll meet each other on Sunday morning. We'll continue.
In Yerushalayim.
Oh, you're right. We'll meet ourselves in Yerushalayim. Mashiach will come, and we'll have revelation.
Amen.